Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today with another Raid Shadow Legends Champion Guide. Hopefully you like the mix here. We're doing some on my main account. We're doing some of these guides on my free-to-play account, such as today we did Duck the Pierced as well a few days ago on my free-to-play. So again, hopefully trying to strike that balance of kind of mid-game free-to-play and end-game as well on this channel. Of course, I want the big takeaway, no matter where you are in the game, no matter what gear you have, just to have an idea of the stat priorities of, key masteries and where you're going to be using these champions on top of blessings and things like that. So you can always scale either better in the case of today's video, and if you have better artifacts, or worse in the case of videos on my main account. Anyway, guys, today it's going to be one of the best epic poison damage dealers rare poison damage dealers in the game. She feels like an epic, so it wasn't really a Freudian slip, or maybe it was. It's Frozen Banshee. Now, Frozen Banshee can literally out-damage a lot of epic and legendary poison damage dealers out there in the game. She's a tremendous champion. Her claim to fame is also, I think she was added back in 2019, if I'm not mistaken there, and she was the first champion ever to be added to the game with the big version, or with any version, of poison sensitivity. So really love to have that debuff on her as well. It's on her A3. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but essentially a 25% poison sensitivity boosts poison damage by 25%. So really, really strong, and it works on all poisons on the target. Frozen Banshee is absolutely a beast in two areas in the game. You can see the rest of the ratings and reviews are pretty low, but the fact of the matter is she's one of the best poison damage dealers, especially outside of the end-to-end game for Clan Boss, for Demon Lord Clan Boss. You can even use her as a damage dealer even on unkillable teams. She's also great against the Dragon, who's very susceptible to poison damage. So Dragon's Lair and Demon Lord is where most players are going to be taking full advantage of Frozen Banshee. Now I'm going to go over a few different builds, but by far, personally, my favorite build on this champion is Retaliation set. Not a set that we talk about a lot here on the channel. 35% chance to counterattack when hit. So I have a speed and a retaliation set on her right now. We'll get to the artifacts in just a moment. What does she do? On Death's Caress, her A1 ability, she has kind of a tandem champion too. Not really, but they were added the same day, and it's Grave Chill Killer. Grave Chill Killer is another rare champion who's not that good, not as good as Frozen Banshee, but put them together and they're actually pretty good. Just kind of a note for you guys. Anyway, attack one enemy 2 times. Each hit, when booked, has a 100% chance of placing a big version of poison for 2 turns, provided the target is under a poison sensitivity debuff. On her A2 ability, Cruel Exultation attacks one enemy, fills a turn meter of all allies by 2% for each debuff on the target. Now, important to know about her A2 is if you have her just on auto and you don't go in there and change the AI, she won't use this ability against the Clan Boss. She'll just not use it, which is actually pretty handy because you don't want to mess up your speed tuning, so it's kind of cool. But you can go in there and set it as a priority if you want to, using your AI, your team setup, if you do want to use this ability, if you don't have speed tunes or whatever, maybe if you have her in the early game. Frost Blight, her A3 ability, attacks one enemy. We get, again, a big version poison sensitivity for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. That means she's going to be landing a lot of poisons off of her A1. Again, that's a big version, 100% of that poison, provided they're under that poison sensitivity. So masteries on this champion. I'm going to show you 2 different mastery builds on Frozen Banshee. You really can't go wrong with either. I prefer this one. Let me move out of the way really quickly here. I prefer this build. Now, we're bypassing some much-needed accuracy on this champion, and we're also bypassing Master Hexter to extend the duration of not just her poison, but also her poison sensitivity. So it's a tough and a difficult decision to make. That's kind of redundant, huh? It's a difficult decision to make, but either way, you're getting a lot of utility out of this champion. So you can see on the offensive side of things, we kind of end things with War Master to get extra damage, especially against the Clan Boss. I also really, really love Life Drinker Mastery. Heals by 5% of the damage inflicted when attacking with 50% HP or less. A good, especially if you don't have an unkillable team alongside her. Defense. We went down. We picked up Retribution. 50% chance to counterattack when this champion loses 25% of their max HP or more from a single enemy skill, okay? And then Deterrence. 20% chance to counterattack when when they apply a stun, aka Clan Boss, with their abilities. So that's a cool ability too. Both of these counterattacks, Deterrence and Retribution, the aim here is to land more poisons from that really valuable A1 ability. Okay, now, if we redid things, let's go ahead and reset for free. What I would pick up is more accuracy. So again, we're going to go with pinpoint accuracy, come down, charge focus. This is like the trifecta: swarm smiter, charge focus, and pinpoint accuracy, if I could speak today, for accuracy champions, for champions that you want to get more accuracy from. Now, we only have a speed set in terms of basic sets, so we can't benefit incredibly from Lore of Steel, but I'll take it anyway. I will pick up Eagle Eye as well. I'll come down and I'll grab that Master Hexer to extend the duration again of the poison sensitivity. And then Sniper, is that even going to matter on her? It is not, unless you don't have her fully booked, then it would matter. But we're already getting a 100% chance of placing anyway, so Sniper is not going to change things. So instead, we will go with Spirit Haste, increase speed by 8 for each dead ally. It's an okay mastery to have. I am still going to go on the offensive side of things. I'm going to pick up the crit damage, crit rate. Might as well get a little extra damage there. As I said, we'll get some Life Drinker as well. We'll get Heart of Glory. We will get Single Out, and we're just going to come right down the left-hand side here. Methodical, and then end again at War Master. For me, War Master is really the best, by far, tier 6 mastery choice for this champion. I guess one other option for you guys, too, just to point it out, is Grim Resolve. Increased damage inflicted by 5% when attacking with 50% HP or less. Again, getting a little bit more damage out of her. Trying to think Wrath of Slain as well, if you want to increase damage for each dead ally. But on this particular build, again, all of her damage is really coming from the War Master procs and from those poisons. We don't have a lot of crit rate and crit damage on this champion, certainly. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at her multipliers, speaking of which, here on hellhades.com. So he gives her a 3.5 overall grade on Frozen Banshee. Dragon, 5 out of 5. Clan Boss, 5 out of 5. We talked about that. So the versatility score is not very high on this champion, but book value is 10 out of 10, which I agree with here. She has good multipliers, 2.2, 6.5 on her A2, and a 5 on her A3, but keep in mind, multipliers go based on, the total number of the attack, and the scalability of 1,000 on the attack isn't out of this world. She does have 1,000 defense, which is actually pretty solid for a rare champion. So again, those are the multipliers. In terms of blessings, it's going to be a no-brainer, guys. Phantom Touch on this champion. That is going to give you a lot of extra damage, especially depending on the blessing level, the ascension level on this champion, for Clan Boss again. So why do I love a Retaliation? It's pretty obvious, right? Retaliation is fantastic because we're going to be counterattacking and landing more of those poisons, provided the target is under those poison sensitivities, right? So Retaliation, again, if there's a really high chance at an HP burn or a poison on any champion's A1, it's worth considering Retaliation, right? Avenging Gear has a 45% chance to counterattack when hit with a critical hit. Just keep in mind the crit rate of Clan Boss and of most bosses in this game is only around 15%. So Avenging, you're not going to want outside of the arena, and even then, it's a beyond niche. It's not a very meta or popular set to be using right now in the game. So anyway, guys, Frozen Banshee, this is a free-to-play account. Here are the stat priorities on this champion. First and foremost, we need enough accuracy to be landing our poison sensitivity and our poisons, depending on where we are in the game. Again, general rule of thumb is around 10 accuracy per stage of the dungeon that you're going against. So if I was facing off against stage 21 Dragon, this ought to be fine at 217 accuracy. The next priority is going to be speed. Again, we want to keep that poison sensitivity on as often as possible, take advantage of it, especially against the Clan Boss, but the Dragon as well. So that's going to be priority number 2. Priority number 3 is going to be enough defense to keep her alive. So I would say defense percentage and some HP percentage as well. After that, hey, if you want to go with a little bit of crit rate, little bit of crit damage, sure, go for it. But again, keep in mind, most of the damage is going to be coming from the actual poisons from Frozen Banshee. So if I had to critique this build, I would say, again, pretty crappy gear, and I'm silver broke on this account, so I don't have much, but I would say that the defense is actually okay for, where I'm at, like brutal on this account, right? So the defense is actually fine, I think, but The speed is a bit low. I'd really love to have that over 200. So what do I have in terms of artifacts on her? I have speed with a trip defense roll on my boots. I have a 4-star defense percentage on the chest. I have defense percentage as well on the gauntlets. Now, no worries with going HP percentage in either of these spots as well. In my case, I actually have HP on the amulet with a trip roll accuracy, not bad. And I have HP as well on this ring that I need to fully level up. Speaking of HP, we still need to fully level up the helmet as well, so we can stand to gain quite a bit more HP in those two artifacts alone. But anyway, back to my point, guys. I went HP on the amulet, HP on the ring, and accuracy on the banner, right? So I have defense, and then I have HP. Why did I go HP on the accessories and defense on the artifacts? Well, it's easy. Again, look at these two base stats. 14.7 is pretty low for a base HP. So the percentage is going to have less results, it's going to be mitigated, the results, right? As with defense, as we spoke about, 1,000 is not too bad. So the scalability of defense is a little bit better. So I'll go with the flat stats on the accessories, and I'll go with defense percentage on my percentage gear, on my gauntlets and on my chest piece. Now, if you don't have retaliation gear, no worries at all. I think that putting her in perception is probably just as good, right? Especially if you can get her a lot faster. I don't have a ton of good perception gear on this account, but again, perception for me, even accuracy gear, even speed gear is all going to be good for you guys. Just depends, again, on the accuracy that you need to obtain. That is first and foremost on Frozen Banshee. So I thought I'd share this guide with you guys because I really love the Retaliation. Let me take you for a really quick dungeon run. I'll be right back. All right, guys, so here's my dragon team. We have Sepulchre Sentinel. We have Syl of the Drakes as a reviver and support. We have Kale. We have Duck the Pierced. And then we have Frozen Banshee. So I'm going to wait till we get to the dragon. I'll come back to you guys because the waves are not that interesting, and it's not the fastest team known to man either. But, of course, we do have our debuffer. We have our Control and Syl of the Drake debuffer again and Duck the Pierced. And then we have some support in Sepulchre Sentinel. It's a really well-balanced team, plus our two poison specialists in Kale and Frozen Banshee. Again, I'll be right back at the dragon. So guys, here we are against the dragon. Sorry, a little bit late there, but we can see she's already had a couple counterattacks, which is really nice. You'll notice the poison sensitivity on the dragon. Really good to get that extra damage per every single poison debuff, right? So things are going pretty well. Let's see if this counterattack, there it is right there. A counterattack, another poison, right? So we get the counterattack, we get the poison, and then we get the chance of War Master as well, right? So that's a lot of extra damage. And, you know, I've already used my clan boss battles today, my keys. So it's a shame that I couldn't show you the clan boss team, but again, it's basically exactly this, you know, to some extent on this account. She puts out 1.1 million damage, which is so impressive next to Kale at 1.4, because Kale has two poison abilities, granted one the big version, one the small one, and all those AoE attacks on the waves. So she almost keeps up with Kale with just single hitters and those counterattacks against the dragon. Keep in mind too, she's getting extra damage out of all those poisons vis-a-vis the poison sensitivity. So guys, really fun champion to use. If you have her, congratulations. She's definitely worth investing in, really for early game, for mid game, and for end game players alike. Let me know what you think of Frozen Banshee, and let me know how you guys build her. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.